Hello friends, welcome to Cook to Nourish. Today I'm going to show you how to make gluten-free naan, and this is an instant no yeast recipe. I'm using this King Arthur measure for measure flour, and I'm also using like a non-dairy yogurt in this recipe. So I like to use this cashew yogurt, and I'm using 1/4 cup. You can also use any other non-dairy yogurt, or if you're okay with dairy, you can also use regular yogurt. But start with 1/4 of it. Then half a cup of coconut milk. Again, I'm using non-dairy milk. You can also use regular milk if you're okay with dairy. And then I'm adding 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm using homemade baking powder, but if you're using from store, make sure it is aluminum free, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt as well. And just whisk all of that together. See how frothy you get, like a frothy mixture, which is good. That's what you should be getting. And just make sure that there's the yogurt that you're using has no lumps. And also add about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil to this mixture. Again, whisk it to make sure that it is nice and frothy with no lumps. And then we're going to add this flour. We're going to add a total of 1.5 cups of flour. But again, I want to show you this pack because within King Arthur you will have different varieties like baking mix, etc. But this one doesn't have any baking soda. It has xanthan gum and a mixture of different flours. So 1.5 cup of this flour blend. And what I like about the King Arthur gluten-free blend is it doesn't have any corn. So many people are sensitive to corn, so this does not have corn. And now, as you can see, the mixture is a little bit dry. So you will need to add a little bit more liquid. You can either add some water or some more coconut milk. About 1/4 more liquid you will need until you get a smooth dough. So I like to add the same non-dairy milk like coconut milk because that way your naan will be richer. But you can also add for the extra you can also add water and knead the dough so that it becomes nice and smooth. It will be a little bit sticky, but it should not be very sticky at this point. The water should be enough so that it comes together nicely, but it should not be overtly sticky. If it does for some reason get overtly sticky, then just add a little bit more flour. And then finally add like a teaspoon or 2 teaspoon more of the oil, so that way it will make the dough smoother and non-sticky so that it becomes easier for you to roll. Okay. Now this is, as I said before, it's an instant recipe. So as soon as your dough is ready, you should be cooking it. You should not leave it aside and keep it aside for a few hours. That won't be good. This recipe works best in instant method. That means you have to cook it right after. Now this recipe makes about 6 naan, so I just cut it into about 6 equal portions. If you're making smaller size, then you can probably make more. But about 6 is gives you like a good size naan. And you can make it either, oblong shape, that is, which is a typical naan, or a round shape. I like to just make it round because I like to use my cast iron pan, which is like a small round pan. So I just make it like a round shape. So you can roll it like how I'm doing. Make sure that you don't roll it too thin like chapati because naan has to be a little bit thicker for you to get the right texture. Right, so this is how you can do. I also wanted to show you that you can also just, without rolling, you can also just pat it. Take the ball and then just pat it using your hands. And this way also, you can kind of create this naan and thicker naan. I feel like personally making it with your hand, so that is a little bit thicker, actually gives a better textured naan. Cook it for about 1 minute, and make sure the pan is already hot when you add the naan. And then as soon as you see like the bubbles kind of popping up, then you will flip it over, and then you should be seeing like brown spots. And then basically about 1 minute on each side will get the naan cooking, as long as your pan is really hot. But cook it on medium heat. Even if the pan is hot, make sure when you add the naan on it that it has to be cooking on medium heat so that it gets uniformly cooked. And then finally, when you can just add a dollop of butter or oil to it, and see the texture, it's amazing and it tastes amazing. So it's like really perfect if you want to like make an instant naan without yeast, and it's just something that comes together pretty quickly, and it's really goes really well with any kind of Indian curry. So I hope you can try this recipe. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.